So, welcome. My name is Stephanie Benedetto. I have a special guest here today. Welcome to the Three Principles Global Community webinar. The Three Principles Global Community, or 3PGC, is a nonprofit organization that is committed to bringing an understanding of the three principles as introduced by Sydney Banks to people throughout the world. And today, I'm here with Dr. Mark Howard. Mark Howard, PhD, has been sharing the principles for 42 years. He loves to mentor and coach practitioners who want to deepen their work with the principles. And today he'll be speaking about keeping the holiday feeling year round. So over to you, Mark.
Oh, thank you, Stephanie. Hi, everyone. I was telling Stephanie that this topic is one that I do every December for my teleseminar program, um, which is now podcast. But I wanted to just share it with the 3PGC community. And, it goes back many years to uh, like the first year or so when I started to learn, listening to Sydney Banks at seminars and at a professional development meeting. But at that time, some of his seminars or meetings with people, the ones on Salt Spring Island, were recorded on cassettes. And some of you may not be familiar with cassettes or that tape. It's a tape, tape recording, and they uh, they shrunk these reel-to-reel tapes into these little cassettes that you can put into recorders and also into a car, which I don't know if they still build cars with cassette availability. But on the cassette, Sid shared this profound, for me, a profound statement. And he said, we're in the holidays now. He would call it Christmas, but it would be for every culture's celebration, holiday time. But he, at that time, was saying, we're in the Christmas period of time. And these feelings that everybody has around Christmas or the holidays, you can have them all year long. And that hit me. I had never thought I never even considered that these feelings that were so easy for me to have during the holiday period of time are available all year round. I could be in them all year round to the degree I'm in them during the holidays. So here in the United States and Canada, it usually starts with our Thanksgiving, which is a celebration where we start to get into the feeling of gratitude and being thankful. And then, it moves into the feelings of the holidays of generosity. In our community, there's a lot of what are called food banks where, they're called for donations of food to give to people who are food insecure in our communities. There's more church groups that offer meals this time of year. A lot of generosity and goodwill and love. A lot of love and understanding going on, and joy. There's even a song, "Joy to the World," for this period of time. And hi, Richie. Uh, uh, and so it was easy growing up because it was all around. Everybody in my neighborhood, in the community, in the world were getting into what I thought were special feelings. I had never considered, and well, these are feelings you could live in, until I heard that from Sid. Isn't that profound? Isn't that profound? These holiday feelings, your goodwill, your gift giving, you're thinking of others, you're being thankful. are there for you all year round. In a sense, as I got later in my learning about Sid's teachings and then the three principles, um, it was becoming obvious that these are the feelings we're made of. This is the spiritual energy of mind that Sid talks about. This is how it is manifest. It's manifested through us through uh, these forms of love, goodwill, gratitude, kindness, tenderness, thinking of others. But to just consider together today, and those of you watching the recording, that you can live in these feelings all year, that you're meant to live in these feelings all year. Sid said that's our purpose. The purpose of life is to go find these feelings, our true nature, find our true nature. That's what he said. But it's these feelings of love and understanding, you see. So that was profound. It just woke me up. And I was now living, since then, um, living more in these feelings, pointing myself more in the direction of happiness and well-being and joy and goodwill, and really knowing that this is our true nature. So if this is the case, then what happens? you know, you go through the holidays and, people are there's this kind of thing on New Year's, everybody's trying to get better. They're making resolutions. I'm going to get better at this now, So they start thinking about problems. Oh, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to eat more plants. So, what happens to these beautiful holiday feelings? Well, nothing. They're there. The trouble is we get back into a lot more of taking our habitual thinking more seriously. We start evaluating ourselves more. We start to get more into comparisons. We get into worry and concern, all of these typical thinking that we've learned growing up. And so somehow we say, well, we don't really say this, but it's kind of like, well, enough of those good feelings. Let's get back to the real life. So anyhow, that's all that happens. All that happens is we really think our way out of these beautiful feelings. We get back into our usual habits of thought innocently, because if you don't understand the principles, it just looks like a natural course of things. Um, and so we don't realize that the way we started to think again got us away from these holiday feelings that are in us right now. Even though we're thinking about, oh my God, I put on too much weight through the holidays. Oh man, I'm not as healthy as I should be. You start getting into self-evaluation. So it's that simple, really. It's that simple as you realize the power of thought, as you realize all of us in the human condition have developed habits of thought. We all have. You can't escape it, but you could understand it. You could see, oh my goodness, I got into comparing myself, and I just lost this beautiful feeling of goodwill. So you can begin to recognize that you're back in your habits of thinking, and that does a world of good for people. For the principles, that's our saving grace, is that we can recognize that we're using thought in a way that may not serve us well. We can see that. Um, and usually when we see that, it takes us back to these beautiful feelings. I shared on my teleseminar yesterday when I was sharing the same topic that when I was in my PhD psychology program, I was in a university in the Midwest of Canada, which is just north of the Midwest of the United States. So it's a very cold region of North America. And the Red River flew through this province. Manitoba was the province. They call it a province rather than a state. And it actually ran through the middle of our university. So during the winter, of course, it's so cold, the river freezes. And people who live close to the university cross country ski into the university to take their classes. Now, if you didn't know science, if you didn't understand nature, you'd look at that frozen river and you would believe it's frozen all the way down. You wouldn't realize that there's a river flowing beneath the block of that ice. That ice is so thick, a certain level of thickness, but below it is a river. The Red River's flowing underneath that block of ice. And it's a great image to talk about us, you know. Our beautiful feelings are flowing within us all the time. We don't see it because we have a block of ice uh, labeled our habitual thinking. And when we're in that thinking, it looks like it's all the way down. It doesn't look like, we've got access to these beautiful feelings. When I'm in self-doubt or if I'm comparing, my creating a program to Michael Neal, I could get a bit jealous, or I could get a bit discouraged. Oh my goodness, he's got all these beautiful programs. What am I doing with just one or two, And so when I'm in there, I don't see the river flowing. And that's the nature of thought, isn't it? But you can wake up to that and to see that the only thing in our way of the holiday feelings is our thinking, is the way we're using thought at this moment. And now, isn't that really a beautiful thing to see? There's nothing really to do. Um, you don't have to try to think better. You don't have to look at not thinking. All you have to do is see the truth of that, and it'll come back and serve you when you get a bit lost in your thinking. But what I want us to see today, what I really want us all to get a feeling for, is the holiday feelings are with us. They don't leave because that's what we truly are. Chip Chipman, who recently passed away, and Elsie would always share about our true nature, and they would honor this feeling. If any of you went to their June school, it was all about just living in the feeling. And that's it. It's just that you begin to see that's where we're meant to live. It's like another thing I heard from Sid, who said, the most unnatural state for a human being is to be unhappy. Now, isn't that profound? So, what's the natural state? Being happy. Feeling love and understanding, feeling goodwill, being kind and thoughtful. And, my wife and I were out shopping Sunday. We want to give some gifts to our family. And of course, you're in these big retail stores and everybody's doing the same thing, Everybody is looking for gifts because it's like, a week away. So I guess there's a sense of urgency on everybody's mind. And so when you go to check out to buy it, there's a long line. And I was really, it really stood out for me that I'm standing in this long line with my wife and I'm not bothered. And I was really amazed at myself because usually when that would happen in the past, I would complain. That's my habit, is to complain. And so, and it so happened that the same thing was there was a clerk and she was having it looked like a difficult time with this customer who kept pointing to their receipt and demanding stuff, it looked like. And I could see the clerk was getting all caught up, and stressed out and flustered. And my heart went out to her. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's terrible. Now, previously, I would have thought, what's wrong with this company? What's wrong with this store? Don't they know that they need more than one clerk? Can't that clerk hurry it up? They need good customers. I get all caught up in my habits of thought of complaining. But that's just thinking to make myself feel um, drop out of drop out of these beautiful feelings of being with my wife, having a good time, picking up things that we know our family might like, my son or my daughter-in-law, my grandson, my cousins, my nephews and nieces. And I could take myself out of it in a moment because I got into a line that looked long. You see, in a moment. That's just the innocence of us. It's just the way we are in the human condition. But my saving grace has always been, I wake up to, oh no, man, there I go again. I'm caught up in I'm caught up in complaining again. Okay, quiet down, come back, get get your bearings back. And yesterday, as I'm in line, it just occurred to me, why don't I just say hello to the people in front of me? Why don't I just start talking with them if they want to? And so things started to occur that would have never occurred to me to do in the line while I'm waiting if I'm in a complaining mode of thinking. So just the story. It's nothing about me. It's, really, it's just about how thankful I am to have found this understanding because it comes back to me when I'm caught up in these habits of thought. And when it comes back to me, I get freedom. Sid called it freedom of thought, freedom to think any way you want. For me, it's freedom to get my bearings back. Come back to these beautiful feelings I had just a moment ago. Well, it's nice to wake up to the fact that we're all like this. That was another nice thing for me to see. We're all like this. No big deal. Nothing to be judgmental about. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't have a psychiatric illness. Uh, you know, you just kind of are more inclined to believe your habitual thinking than, maybe you you won't believe, in a year of understanding the principles. Um, so um, so I wanted to share that with you today. I wanted you to take that with you, and when you notice in a feeling of goodwill, nurture it, water it like you would a seedling in your garden. When you are generous and your heart goes out to someone, notice it and embrace it. Keep it around. You know, when you are thankful, keep it with you. Because you see, when you're in the feeling of goodwill, when you're in the holiday feelings, however they get manifested toward you today, it might be with compassion, it might be with generosity, whatever. You want to see that the power of being in those feelings is that they take you beyond yourself. You're not thinking about you when you're in goodwill. When you're in generosity, you're not thinking about you. When you're in compassion, understanding another human being might be in trouble thinking, you're not thinking about you. When you're in love, you're not thinking about you. You see? So these beautiful feelings are curative. They take you beyond self-concern. You're in a consciousness beyond you, your personal existence. And thereby you're in the spirit of this energy. You're in the connection to everyone around you because everyone around you is mind. Everyone around you is this energy. Now, they're using thought differently than you do. That's why they look at things differently. But everybody around you is mind. And when you drop into these beautiful feelings, or when they awaken in you once again, you're connected to life. You're connected to the spiritual energy of creation. You're connected to everyone. So you want to see the power of you dropping into goodwill and not easily dismiss it to get onto the business of life, you see. Oh, yeah, I did my one act of generosity. I gave some canned foods to this food bank today. Okay, my one good act of kindness. Now let's get on to getting serious about life, you know. I'm just kind of joking about that. But what you want to see is when you're visited by these feelings, you're in this space you're meant to live. And you're meant to live beyond your self concerns. You're meant to live beyond your self evaluation. You're meant to live with beyond your beliefs about yourself. You're meant to live in a consciousness that even though you're there physically and you can talk and everything, in your consciousness, it's not about you. You're beyond that. And so that's why you feel wonderful when you can offer kindness to someone. That's why you feel beautiful because you're beyond thinking about yourself, connected to the energy between you and this other person. So today, in November, I thought, I'm going to do my teleseminar on this. I also want to share it with the Three Principles Global Community, and I hope it I hope it was helpful. And I don't know that the cassette, that tape that Sid made has really been transferred to digital. I don't know that it's even really accessible anymore because this was something that I was able to get in 1986. So it's been a few years. So I want to stop and just check in with all of you. If you just have any general questions, if you want to share from today's being with me, if you have any other questions, feel free to take the time today. Um, so I want to, oh yeah, right away we have somebody here. Marlene. Hi. Hi, Marlene. Oh, I can't hear you.
No, I had to unmute twice here. Okay, we're good. Can you hear me
Oh,
now?
good. Good.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I can move my microphone over closer there. That would be really good. Hang on. I'll be right there.
You're coming through loud and clear.
Oh, okay, I won't use it then. So, so first of all, what I'm hearing you say is that you perhaps went to the University of Manitoba in Winnipeg.
I did.
Yeah, I did too, but maybe not the same year, but maybe we did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That is really something.
I took my undergraduate degree there.
Um, do you mind sharing the year?
I graduated in 1972.
Oh, okay. So I got my doctorate in 1979.
Oh,
So I
cool.
was that was 1972 was my first year there.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. But I had one of my fellow students in my class lived across the river, and she'd walk across the river to come
Yeah.
to classes in the winter. And I thought, like, it sounds precarious, but it's very cold and the ice is probably pretty deep. So, yeah. So I just wanted to mention that. But what I wanted to share is, when I was introduced to this understanding, I didn't set out to have nicer feelings. In fact, I don't even think I really understood what nicer feelings were. Like, oh yeah, I feel happier. I maybe feel more confident, or maybe I feel more whatever. But what I'm finding after, being in this conversation for several years now is just I'm having more experience of just feeling happier and contented and a sense of well-being and a sense of optimism. And so it's almost like a byproduct of, deepening our understanding of these principles. But I can't say that there's a direct correlation. Like, I didn't have this aha moment like, oh, this is leading me to be happier. This is so
Yeah.
it's to me that's sort of the enigma. Like, um, it's not like a how-to, but it happens anyway.
Well, to me, that's so true. It isn't a how-to. It's that as you have more understanding, which for me helped me quiet a lot of habitual thinking that got in my way, helped me lessen my time spent with it. I became a more happier person. And, as my understanding deepened, part of it was I saw people around me with an understanding that, they're just doing their way because of the way they're thinking. That's all that's happening. It's not a personal thing. So I found that I was living with more compassion and contentment. And those four words you mentioned is what Sid would say is how you want to live. You want to live in contentment. You want to live in optimism. We cover that in the missing link when I do my yearly book group, when he talks about living with optimism rather than pessimism. So that's it. It just kind of, when you drill holes in that block of ice, and you let go of some of that ice, some of that thinking, and up comes the energy that's there. Up comes the love and understanding. So it isn't a how to, but as you begin to lessen how much energy you put into habitual thinking, your natural state becomes more buoyant. It arrives. It arrives. That's beautiful to share. Isn't that such a hopeful message?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else have anything you'd like to share or ask about?
And feel free to go to your react button and raise your digital hand, and then Mark can see you. Feel free to
Oh,
ask any questions. Aha, they're coming
oh.
now.
So, Anna,
Hi, Mark. Hi, everybody. It's really good to be here. I had nothing, but I wanted to say that sometimes the quiet in the conversation is so lovely, and when nobody has a question,
yeah.
it's still a beautiful feeling. And I'm interrupting that to say this, which is paradoxical. But yeah, the feeling, I just love, this reminder is always so good. I could always use with the reminder that these feelings are available to me always, because the opposite is we start to live, um, when some people call outside in, something happens and you feel it goes down and you're sure it's the car or the dog or the neighbor or the money. So I appreciate that very much. And yesterday I had this little, I would call it just little insight that when a thought presents to me, when a thought comes to me, it's like if an elevator comes to me and opens its doors, and I can step in or I can stay out of the elevator.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I thought, well, it depends, because if the elevator is going down, I don't want to step in. I do I do myself a great favor by noticing that this negative thought is there, and oh, okay, I don't have to step in. And the other thing that I love that you remind us today, how natural it is for our spirits to rise.
Yeah,
And I think it's very natural. And yesterday I say to someone, for your spirits to rise, your only job is not to lower your, your spirit. Your only job is not to step into the elevator that is going down, push all the buttons, and get yourself lost in the up and down of consciousness. So thank you so much. I love this call. Nice to be here with you all. And if you have something, just please, I always love listening to that.
well, that's a beautiful visual and a beautiful level of understanding, that um, I used to talk to people about that all of their trouble thinking about themselves are like the gremlins, from that movie, The Gremlins, that have started to rent space in their minds, and they've hung out there for a while. But you want to get to a place where you can get rid of all your gremlins, and then you can see them coming down the street to visit you. You want to get to that place, and it's kind of like the feeling of what you're sharing with us, that we can begin to see ourselves kind of moving. We can see that if we go there, we're heading down to the bargain basement.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to talk to people about levels of consciousness that way too. And it just came to mind because, again, it's this holiday feeling. When I was a kid, we'd go into San Francisco and they had these huge department stores that are, have gone out of business. But But what would happen in those days is if you would go down to the last level of the elevator, it was called the bargain basement of the retail store. And so when the doors opened, there were like sales, 50% off on shoes, belts, pants, jackets, you know. And so people would go out and get, wow, great deal. And so I talked with people like when you get into a low mood, it's like your elevator went down to the bargain basement, the doors open and there's sales on guilt, there's sales on worry, there's sales on resentment, you know. And so you want to stay in the elevator till it kind of goes back up. But
Yeah.
but thank you for that. That's really a beautiful insight. And also the quiet, you know, just sitting in quiet. And then Melissa, your hand is up. Hi,
Yes,
Melissa.
hi, how are you?
I'm good.
I I love the humility. One thing I love about this community is the humility. And when you compare yourself to Michael Neal, who's a rock star, but yet you're up there playing lead guitar right next to him. But you share that, and I always feel like, I mean, you're an OG for crying out loud. And all the OGs, you know, I always just feel like we're walking side by side,
Yeah.
and just learning from your humility and just your shares is just so rich. So I thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, you know, and yes, you know, that's a great reminder. It helps me to see that I'm playing lead guitar with Michael. I've done events with him, but you know, every so often, you know, he comes out with another program and saying, "Oh my God," you know, I get into personal thinking. It's just comparison, you know, and it's uh, the other piece I want to share with you is this: is that when you can feel the humility, it's because, like for me, I know it's not me. Like, I know it's not Mark Howard who has brought this wisdom to me and is sharing with you today. It's not from me, it goes through me. And that knowing is the feeling of humility that you're not the one. Uh, uh, you could never. Well, anyhow, that's really where the humility comes from. Is that it's not me. It's the being able to sit in the beautiful feelings and and see what mind shows up. So that's kind of like the beauty of this community is that humility to see we're more uh, there's more there's more um, oh I know yeah, I'm sorry I had something to say here and then I kind of lost it and then I just realized something. It's like what Sid said. That's what is the humility. Sid said the first night I listened to him, it's not me. You have it too. And that's part of the humility, you see. So when we realize the truth of that, we look, all of us here look like we have humility, but we really see the truth is that it's not me. You have it too. Thank you, Melissa.
like
That was
love.
really beautiful that you shared
It
with
feels
us.
like love. Yeah. Thank
It's
you.
love. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. Rebecca. Hello, Rebecca.
Hi, you okay? Um, I just wanted to share that I really liked the river story that you said. Um, and with the ice sort of resembling the stuck thoughts, the habitual thinkings and things like that. I've been in this conversation for a while now, and I have noticed small changes, and that I am more sensitive now towards my feelings, as in, um, when I get a bad feeling, I know that I'm probably not going in the right direction. Um, and to me, that tells me that's where I need to be a bit more compassionate with myself, and maybe not get into comparisons or
Yeah.
habitual thinking and things like that. So I can be quite sensitive towards that now. And I'd just like to share, I listened to Judy Sedgman's podcast, and she said that a lot of people are too busy thinking their way through life rather than feeling their way through life. And to me, that sort of hits the nail on the head. I just thought I'd share that.
Well, Rebecca, that's beautiful. It's just beautiful what you shared, that you can see now. Isn't it wonderful that we could find this understanding that we can notice us going in a direction with our feelings and know to take better care of ourselves. And like you said, for you, it's to look to compassion. It's to be careful about comparisons. Well, that's beautiful that you realize that. And that will take care of you the rest of your life. And I just think that's beautiful. And again, it just brings the hope of this understanding. That's what I see with the principles. It gives people hope that they can find these holiday feelings and find their own way, see their own way to handle life and the experiences they're having in life. So thank you, Rebecca. That was beautiful. And
Thank
Stuart,
you.
oh, sorry, Rebecca.
I just
Did
say
you have
thank
what you
you.
wanted to say?
No, I just wanted to say thank you. These calls were great.
Oh, good. Oh, good. And Stuart? Hi, Stuart. No, we can't hear you, Stuart.
Can you unmute?
Okay, there we go.
Oh, great, great.
Sorry about that. Too much thinking going on. Um, so it's just so funny how more and more I see going with the flow of life and how, stepping back and not getting in the way, you know. And for example, today I saw a wallet on the ground, okay, and I just went and brought it to the management instead of just walking past it like most New Yorkers do, right? And I didn't do it for any accolades. I didn't do it for any reason. I just did it because it was from my heart and it was the right thing to do. And what I've noticed in the past few years as I've deepened my understanding, I I can be more engaging with the people that I live with, people that I don't know, people that I've seen pass by millions of times. Well, maybe not millions, thousands, but you understand what I'm saying as far as being comfortable enough to be able to just give for the sake of giving and realizing, like you said, that it's just coming through me. And that's where the sweet spot that I want to stay in, because a lot of times, like you said, we get caught up in the business of life. But really, what is the business of life except to be in this state of love that we were destined to be in, but we just do things to get ourselves away from it. One other thing I just wanted to kind of bring up and maybe ask your opinion about. Sometimes I find that expressing this feeling that you're talking about, people look at me funny, like they don't understand what I'm talking about, and sometimes they take it a certain way, like I'm trying to teach them something. I'm not doing that, and so I've learned to just stay in that humility and remember why I'm saying something or why I'm doing something. Is it just for coming from my heart, or is there something else going on?
Oh,
And
yeah.
and you know, and I think being able to listen to people and really understand where they're coming from, if they're saying something about you, there's a reason. You need to listen. People are not just talking because they feel like talking. Sometimes they really are trying to say something to you, but they don't know how to say it. So it's good to listen. And and also having the courage not to be afraid to hear it. Because at the end of the day, it's really to my benefit. But when I find that I give from my heart, it energizes me and it keeps me going. And every day should be in that spirit. And that's really more and more what I come back to, because what am I afraid of? Someone's not going to say, hi or back, or they're not going to return the favor or whatever. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because it's the right thing. Something inside me is telling me to do this. So I need to listen to that. And if someone is not responding, if someone is not on the same page, that's okay. You know, and you never know how you're going to affect somebody in what you say or what you do. People are observing you. You don't even realize it, but they are. And that's really the spirit that I want to bring out in everybody, that we all have it. We all have this unlimited potential inside of us that we have no idea the limits. There are no limits. Anyway, thank you very much for letting me share that, and maybe you could help me in guiding with people that don't have this understanding and having a way of just maybe communicating it better or something.
Well, you really shared a lot of wonderful thoughts with us. You really did. And, I love that you're seeing listening is really the key. Um, it's really, not everybody's going to respond to us from love and understanding. They're caught up in their state of mind. So, there have been times I've been out in stores and in line, and I, wasn't a nice feeling and was thinking of saying hello to the person in front of me, and they didn't care to say anything to me, So there's that. But if you're sharing something, it's really the listening. If you're with people and they're not grasping what you're sharing, I don't know what that all entails for you, but it's really a listening piece then on your part. It's really wondering what they heard, or maybe you could just be more reflective and kind of listen to where you were when you were sharing it. Or another piece I share a lot when I mentor people who want to share the principles is, you could be in a wonderful place. And yet, if you're sharing from that with people, sometimes you need permission. Sometimes, uh, uh, people are in a place where they're giving you the permission to say something to them. It's like, I shared this story before, but it's again apropos for the holiday season for me, because we have a couple of dinners with family. And my brother-in-law, who has since passed, but he had done an intensive in La Conner with the Pranskys many, many years ago. He had a cocaine addiction, and he really had a spiritual insight. He really had a deeply spiritual realization. So it would never fail that when we got together at family, you know, and dinner was finished and we were all just hanging around, he would start to share his spiritual epiphany. He was in a beautiful feeling because we were all in a beautiful family feeling. So he would share his spiritual epiphany, and then um, somebody would say, "Oh, you know, I got to go refresh my drink." Somebody says, "Oh, I want to go get another piece of pie." All of a sudden, everybody had vanished, and he's there, left in the room. And there was nothing wrong with what he was saying. He didn't have permission. See, he just didn't have permission. I'm not saying this about you, but it's
Right.
just a story about permission that really is powerful to me. Because he's so innocent. He was so innocent, and he wanted people to really see this beautiful realization, but people weren't in a space.
That's, I'm telling you, this is why I was here today. This is why I shared what I mean, it's just, it's miracles happen all the time. And sometimes you think you need to hear something and then you hear it from somebody else also. And so it just reaffirms that I'm feeling I'm on the right path because I've done that. Not clear a room, but I understand exactly. I understand exactly what you're saying. And look, I'm on a journey. We're all on a journey, right? And we're learning, we're making mistakes, we're doing this, we're doing that. I have such a good feeling about this, about the three
Yeah,
principles and
yeah,
sharing with
yeah.
people. It's an innocent misunderstanding, as we always discuss. It's not something I'm doing on purpose to get people to be
Right.
pissed off at me,
Yeah.
but I have to be able to see it also, you know, so.
Well, yeah, I think that's beautiful, you know. And so the two things you mentioned, I just emphasized it more, is, you know, before you share, you want to listen. If you could listen, all of us, if we could listen before we share, it's going to be more relevant what we share. But also, you want to have permission. So that's a biggie, you know, because once you have that, people will be ready to take on what you have to say. And then you want to listen afterwards, you know? You just don't want to leave it there. Once you share, you want to listen. How did that land for these people? So I love this, what you said, you know, like if you've cleared a
Especially
room,
family, especially,
right?
especially family.
Yeah, yeah,
That always
especially
seems to
family.
be like the hot button that really tests us. And
Yeah,
I was at a Michael Neal thing at once, and it came back to there are no exceptions. There are no exceptions, and that includes family, right? As far as being able to relate to them through the three principles and understanding this and how to understand that everyone has it. It depends on us and how we see it, right? And that's what we're
yeah,
talking about right now,
that's right.
you know?
That's right. That's right. And then, you know, I was a bit more cautious with my family because there was one time when my sister-in-law says, "Well, you know, you've been learning a lot. How come you never share it with us?" But look, that's all you need to do is look at permission. And you also have to be okay. People say no to it, you know. You have to be okay. Say, okay,
Oh,
we'll
I'm
come
stuck.
back to it.
My
We'll come back to it
getting
another
thicker.
time.
My skin is getting thicker.
Stuart, with the time, I want to go on to
Yeah,
Susan
yeah,
before
go
we.
ahead. Go
But
ahead. No
thank you so
problem.
much, Stuart. And
Thank
he gave me a good indicator for whether I have permission. If I've cleared the room, I know I haven't had I haven't had permission. So there's a good there's a good indicator. Susan, hi.
This is a perfect segue into what I wanted to share and maybe ask
Oh,
about.
good. Okay.
Is that so? Yesterday, I had one of the most beautiful days in ever, perhaps, with my two daughters. They're now 20 and 22, and they were home and they've been away. They're mostly living away on their
Yeah.
own. And they both came home. We just had the most magical, beautiful day and a beautiful feeling. And it was like time almost stood still. And now this morning we woke up, we have a family member, I won't say any names, who's coming back. And this will change the dynamics of this beautiful feeling. Might, maybe nothing's 100%, but I just wonder about, so I did try to talk to my daughters about this understanding a little bit. And it's like, I think it's Roger Mills that they used to say, I've heard it through Christine Heath, that if give them a spoonful, if they take it, give them another spoonful, and then if they choke, tell a joke. When you're sharing the principles, to just give a little bit and then give a little bit more, and then if it's enough, then you stop. And so I really wanted to share with them how to work with this person. There's a history of it being difficult and tricky sometimes. And so I was trying to share with them, and I could see them just shutting down. So now I'm like, okay, well, this person's going to come back, and then it will change it might change the dynamics. But I guess ultimately that's life. I'm going to stay in my best feeling place.
Yeah.
And, I was trying to share with them that, it's a trick of mind that it's that person. Like if you're upset, that's your own state of mind. And we need to each take care of our own state of mind. And they're like, yeah, but if they say this or that, then that's not okay. I was like, anyhow, I've been having my own. It's almost like I've only been on this understanding for a short time, for a bit, a year now. And what I'm noticing for me in working with it is that it's like the weeds aren't there anymore. Like the same behavior in the other person. And then I notice, well, I'm just not caught in the weeds, and I see love and compassion for that person.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a really beautiful thing. And that now I have this feeling that if the weeds are there, that's me, that's in me. So I need to go take a break. Anyhow, we're coming into the holidays and there'll be lots of new people out of in.
Yeah. Well, it's beautiful what you're sharing, and not everybody, and if you're going to gatherings, and if it's family gatherings, not everybody's no one's gonna be in the same state of mind, and even if people are in a great state of mind through the day, they may drop into a more troubled state of mind. Who knows? They may get insecure. So if you have an understanding for state of mind and it's not personal, and you keep your understanding, you keep your good feeling, that takes care of things.
Mhm.
That takes care of things. And if you're in a good feeling, if you're in these beautiful feelings, and you could look at somebody that might change the dynamic, and you could see that's just insecure thought. They are an insecure way of thinking, and so it shows up this way. If you could truly see that, it will change things. So you stay in your feeling, and it's amazing because you see, we're talking about an energy that when you drop into an energy of love and understanding, it vibrates, honestly.
Mm.
So you stay as best as you can with compassion and your beautiful feelings. And
It's
again,
almost, it's almost like yesterday. I think because of the work I've been doing, or the understanding that I was in that beautiful feeling, and it was contagious with my daughters. They really felt it. They all felt it. Just felt so much love and so much joy. Like we just had a joyful day together. And you're right. Like maybe just staying in that beautiful feeling with whoever's there. Well, and if I'm not in it, then, oh, sorry, hold on. I'm getting a call's coming in on my phone.
Oh.
Yeah, of course. It's going to go to voicemail. Um, sorry, I
Well,
guess if I'm not in it, but I just take the dog for a walk.
well, yeah, you know, that's all. You know, it's like, okay, I'm making this up. I don't know if this happened, but when you were the three of you were in these beautiful feelings, the only thing that could take you out of it is you started to get into some habitual thinking. Maybe the thinking of this person coming today, for example, got into everybody's thinking.
Big
But
time. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so um, you just see the innocence of that. You just see we're all in this human condition, and that's what happens.
Hmm.
So you protect your knowing. You protect your good feelings. No one can take you away from it. No one.
Hmm.
No one. And so uh, you just sit with that truth and have a lot of compassion for yourself. And again, there's wisdom there. And you may see something that comes to you from this wisdom that you haven't seen before if you can stay in heartfelt feelings, if you can stay in goodwill, if you can stay in love, you know, or if you lose it, come back, bring yourself back, because it's so that it just not only is felt by people around you, but is also a resource for you to see something fresh. And somebody who you all have thinking about around this, they feel that.
Hmm.
So, you know, they're going to feel, oh no, here he comes. Why, or she, why do we invite, you know, they're going to feel that. So,
That's true. Yeah.
they're going to also feel, they're also going to feel you keeping yourself as close as you can to compassion. They're going to feel that. People have said that. Like, man, you know, it just felt so different being with dad, or it felt so different being with my spouse, whatever. So
Mhm.
yeah, and you're, you know, there is something, you know, that you could share with your daughters, but you have to have the feeling right in you, and you have to have permission. See, lots of times early on, I wanted to tell my wife about it, but it was an ego trip.
You froze.
You see, because I wanted her to feel better around me. So I wanted to tell her, hey, it's just your thinking. You see, I wasn't coming from goodwill, you know.
That's where I'm at right
Early
now.
on,
Yeah.
early on, you see, it was my
Yeah.
ego getting in the
Yeah.
way, because I said, I want you better. Well, I want you to be better than you are right now. I want you to be better than you can be right now. But that was
Mhm.
self-serving. But when I started to see that and drop that, I had more understanding and could be able to be with her no matter where she was,
Yeah.
because I saw we're mind. We're mind. And her elevator just dropped to the bargain basement, and she got tempted by some sales. I don't know, trying to be funny there.
You know, that's actually so helpful. It's like, yeah, if any family member over the holidays, there's more than one when we're together. If somebody's in the bargain basement, it's like, oh well, there they are.
Yeah,
That's okay. That's okay.
yeah,
Let it be okay. Okay, we're not.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, yesterday was an unusual day just to have really an entire day where nobody was in a low state of mind. We were all in a nice state of mind.
Now that's so
Um,
beautiful.
yeah, yeah. And maybe
And
that's it, that fear that, oh no, we want to hold on to that. But
yeah,
it's like, okay, well, I'll be in the bargain basement sometime too.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. One more thing, we're running overtime, so one more thing.
Oh yeah.
This thing about always wanted to be there is that here's the truth. You cannot keep a level of consciousness. You can't. So you and your daughters fell into a high level of consciousness. But you can't hold that. There's no way you can control a spiritual energy. So it varies. So, people are having a nice feeling, and then all of a sudden they get rude or they get impatient because their level of consciousness changed. And you just have to see that about people. You have to see that about you. And the more you just see, it's just a level of consciousness. There's nothing wrong, We don't have an illness. I haven't misused the principles. You see, it's just, oh, my level of consciousness dropped. So I'm not at my best.
Mhm.
The innocence of that.
I
So
like your initial at the beginning you talked about the river being frozen and underneath it is still moving. Like even
yeah,
just knowing that it's still moving, knowing that that's still, like if we're in a state, we're in that kind of in the weeds, as I would call it. There's still that undercurrent is always there.
that's right. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
place to sit with knowing that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Stephanie, oh, there you are. I think we should stop here.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Thank you so much, Mark. And if you came in late, thank you for your patience and so glad you found us. There will be a replay on the 3PGC YouTube channel that will be coming up so you can catch the beginning there. This beautiful conversation. Thanks so much, Mark. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks,
Yes.
everybody.
Thank you all. Thank you all for really working at getting to the meeting. Have a wonderful holiday and Happy New Year.
You
See
too.
you all.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.